Listen to the 48 Hours podcast for shocking murder cases and compelling real-life dramas from one of television's most watched true crime shows. Go behind the scenes of each episode with award-winning CBS News correspondents and producers in Postmortem, a weekly deep dive. Listen to 48 Hours wherever you get your podcasts.
Alright, what's up guys? Welcome to another episode of the TMossBoss Show, and in today's episode, I might have done an episode like this before, with very little knowledge on it, but more so going based off of my life experience on, attempting, trying, whatever you want to call it, but overall, trying to rely on people. And one thing that I've learned is that you can't rely on people. As much as you want to rely on some of your closest friends, your closest family members, you want to rely on people overall, you can't. It's one of those things where it's like you either need to find people that genuinely want to be there, or you got to be there for yourself. And I feel like you need to start with being there for yourself more than having others there, because that's the thing where it's like you can't. One thing I'm going to say, and it's going to sound very dark, tomorrow is never promised. Yes, you could overall hang out with this person for the very last time, but they shouldn't have to be this key to you overall trying to find peace. One thing I feel like that a lot of people need to do is that they need to find peace with themselves. Like, for an example, with me in content creating, I can't rely on nobody. I've been a content creator for 12 years now, going on almost 13, and I have yet, and the thing is this, I've been through so many different versions of myself with being a content creator. I'm trying to find out what content I feel comfortable with, coming out with, content even now, creating channels, becoming a Twitch streamer, TikTok stuff, podcasting, whatever it is. I have yet to see anybody want to genuinely be there. Don't get me wrong. I have seen people that genuinely want to be there, but that's the thing where it's I guess just based off of my life, I don't really expect them to be there forever. So, I enjoy the moments that I do have with them, but I'm not going to be petty or be upset at the fact where it's if I look up one day and they're no longer there anymore. I'm like, fam, they got their own lives to worry about. That's one thing. And then also, another main motivation behind this podcast episode is the friend that had overall, messaged me saying that they didn't want to be friends with me anymore. So here's the thing, because don't get me wrong, I truly do feel bad on how bad of a friend I was to this person. But at the same time, I have my own issues that I'm trying to handle in my life. So it's trying to worry about, that's one thing where I'm starting to realize is that people want me to think about their feelings first before I feel before I start thinking of my own feelings. Now in a situation like that where it's there wasn't really no feelings for me on my side to really think about, but at the same time, I'm dealing with stuff in my life to where it's I don't want to bring that on to you. I don't want to, so for those that don't really understand that situation, so not a while ago, maybe a few days ago, I had a friend message me overall saying that they didn't want to be friends with me anymore. And I feel that the main reason behind that is because every time when they asked me to hang out with them, always came up with an excuse. Now, the last time they asked me to hang out with them, it was for their birthday. And I was building up that confidence to being okay, I need to put this social anxiety that I have to the side and be there for this friend's birthday. So I was building up to it. I was going and playing video games with friends, hanging out with my family more, just overall being more socially active, and I was going to do everything that I possibly can to really build up to it, Now, I don't know at the end of the day whether I would have showed up to this party or not, but I was building up to it. I was trying. And it's crazy to look up one day and it's like, because this same friend, they had took a break from social media and I didn't know what was going on with them, messaging them, texting them, like, everything possible. And I don't hear nothing. And then, I finally hear from them and I'm thinking everything's good to just look up and being like, getting a text message saying, hey, I don't want to be friends with you no more. It's like, it's kind of like, I don't really know how to like cope with that. I don't really know how to, but at the same time I have to accept it. I have to accept the fact that this person don't want to be cool with me no more. Now if our paths do cross and we reconnect and we want to try again, then I'm like, hey, then whatever the future holds for us, then that's the future and stuff. But right now how I really feel that it's as if this friend were to contact me right now and they were say like, hey, I want to like, I'm sorry about the other day, I want to be friends again, or hey, I was just joking. Like that's something where it's like, my feelings have now gotten involved. Because I'm like, you don't really be expecting that, especially from somebody that you care about. Because I'm like, that's how you care about this person when it hurts. Like when it genuinely hurts that this person don't want to be cool with you. So it's like you put that in my, like, in my system for no reason. I'm like, yeah, that's something where I'm like, at the time, like right now, I'm like, nah, I think it's best if we, at the time right now, we stop being cool with each other. Maybe down the road, if our paths do cross, then okay, cool, our paths do cross and, we can see what the future holds for us then. Maybe we hang out, maybe it might be the same situation like it is now. Whatever the future holds for us, that's what it holds for us. But, right now, that stuff where it's like, nah, like, I'm sorry, but I'm like, no, that's something where I'm like, you can't play with a person's feelings like that and then think it's gonna, cause I'm telling you, like, in that, it was honestly on some, like, some sad stuff. Like, that day, I was waiting for them to say like, oh, I was just playing, I was just joking, I just wanted to see what your reaction would be. I was waiting for that. I genuinely was. And then to like not see nothing from it, yeah, it was just, wow, all right, so I guess this is real. And you just gotta accept it. And you gotta move on with your life. It's the thing is like it's not like this is the first time I've dealt with somebody not wanting to be, friends with me. It's like I've dealt with this before. I even have been in the same shoes as that person where I've had to cut off people, And that's the thing where it's like, when you sit down and it's like thinking about it and stuff, it's like you don't really know what that person is going through to where they don't, they don't want to hang out, they don't want to, so that even like talking to that friend where it's like you can't rely on me to fill this void, because that was one thing that they did tell me. It was like why they took a break or why they just wasn't talking to anybody was because that they were upset the fact that nobody wanted to hang out with them. And that's when it was like when they told me that, and then just overall like thinking on like the past like year we were cool, I'm like, what, for their birthday, I had their like birthday memorized, all that stuff. I was like, no, I am going to their birthday, I'm gonna build up to it. I don't care what I got going on, I don't care how behind I'm in content at that time, I am showing up to there. I don't care if it's during the day, at night, I'm like, I'm going, okay? If I gotta figure out something, I'll do it, but I'm going to go, okay? I was telling myself that every day. And I'm like, so the thing was, is like, I remember one of the last few things prior before they said that they didn't want to be cool with me. I remember one of the final few like things that I had said to them was that it was overall about their, I'm trying to remember. I should just go and just get my phone and stuff, but look it up. And I'm like, no, I ain't trying to distract myself, because think I heard my phone go off and I'll see a notification and then it'll distract me. But anyways, I think what I had said was that, remind me on that day, just in case if I forget. I said something along those lines, but overall, no, I was just taking it upon myself. I'm like, I'm going to remember. I'm like, no, I'm going to think about this every day. Your birthday is on this day. And I kept telling myself that over and over and over again. And then, yeah, so overall, and it's like, you remember all that stuff for no reason. So I know the question is, people are going to probably ask me, it's like, you still going to wish this friend a happy birthday? And I'm like, hey, I will, most likely, probably, but at the same time, it's like, if this person don't want to be cool with me and they don't want to hear from me and stuff, then it's like, hey, it's, it's whatever. I'm not going to sweat it. I probably will, but if they got like, overall, I think this is the type of friend where it's like, they may have my number blocked And if they will, they'll probably see it and ignore it. So I'm like, I'm not even going to, I'm not going to sweat it. It's just, it's whatever and stuff. So that might be like because I did like send a message where it's like, I did kind of plead my case a little bit. But it was something where it's like, I had told them that already, where it's like, I have a social, anxiety issue where it's like, I just don't do well with crowds and stuff. This is like, I'm even like this with my own family and things. And they said they were the same exact way. So I'm like, fam, like, then you should understand. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's, talking to this friend, it's like, you can't rely on me. It's like, I'm not going to always be there, because it's like, if something were to, and God forbid if anything ever were to happen to me, but if something were to happen to me, it's like, fam, then what are you going to do? It's like, you can't keep continuously finding. So it's like, you just got to find, like, just talking to people that deal with stuff like that. Or just with anybody where it's like you rely on people, but they don't never come through, or they're not there for you. You got to find that peace within yourself to where it's like, I'm okay with being by myself. That's one thing where it's like, I had always had feared that, and then the more and more I found myself by myself, whether it was coming up with content, whether it was going out and supporting my content, where I'm going out buying some equipment, buying some shoes, buying a video game, whatever it is, I'm there by myself. I don't have nobody to come with me and being like, hey, you know what? It's like, let's go to this store. Let's go to this. I was doing that all by myself. I'm telling myself that, let's go to this store. Let's go to this store. And I come back home, hook up this equipment and record a video, whatever it is and things. It's like, I'm doing all of that by myself. And then it's like, a lot of times, like growing up, I found myself by myself. It's like, overall, there's like kids that I was cool with back when I was in elementary. Do I talk to them today? No. Kids in middle school, do I talk to them today? No. Kids in high school, do I talk to them today? No. People from my job, do I talk to them today? No. It's one of those things where it's like, you have to accept being alone. Being alone is like, I feel like that's like one of the first steps that a person has to go through in life, where it's like, you're alone. Now it's like, what can you do to better this alone situation? Because I'm like, before, with like Twitch streaming, like people show up, people might not show up, whatever the situation is. But I'm like, even with Twitch streaming, I was about to say, like, with Twitch streaming, you ain't really alone. But it's like, technically, I don't know, kind of however you're doing it and stuff. But no, like, for a lot of the times, I'm like, when I be streaming, I be in them streams by myself. When I was, when I'm recording content, I be recording that content by myself. You look up the majority of the content that I have posted on YouTube, or the majority of the content where I'm involved in it and stuff, it's usually me. Every time, every video, every stream, every podcast episode, I'm just now trying to like build up and, get people more involved in my content and stuff. But yeah, for the longest, it's like, fam, I'm doing this by myself. I don't rely on nobody. I can't rely on nobody. I choose not to rely on nobody, because at the end of the day, I don't want to put all this trust into a person thinking, oh, they're gonna come through if I need to do this video. Oh, they need to come through if I'm doing this stream or this podcast episode or whatever it is and stuff. They're not. Nobody is. You got to come through for yourself. So like talking, I guess like if I could give any advice out to this friend, where it's like they're looking at me, it's like if I'm a bad friend, and I'm like, and they have every rights to, I'm not going to take that away from them. But at the same time, it's like, you got to be there for yourself. It's like, that's the main thing, where it's like, okay, if nobody doesn't show the thing is this, I remember these like past, 2 pandemic birthdays. I remember, in 2020, I think I was hanging out with my mom. I was like, that was really the only person I can hang out with. And I remember last year, I think I went out. I went out by myself. Then this past birthday this year. So three pandemic birthdays and stuff. But anyways, but for the most part, I was out doing things by myself. So I'm like, and that's the thing where it's like, I know I'm gonna have to look up one day. And I think that was one point that I was making, where it's like, as a kid growing up, I always feared being by myself. But no, that was like an imagination, where it's like, I imagine myself, right? This was like my vision. I imagine myself standing on the balcony of this nice house, just looking out into the space, right? Just looking out. I am there by myself. All right. That's the only thing that I ever see from that vision. I don't see nothing else. I still see that vision till this day. I've been seeing that for years now. Years, bruh. And it's one of those things where I'm like, hey, you know what? If and then on top of that, where it's like, even talking with like relationships, where it's like, then try to get romantically involved in like numerous girls and like, freaking from 2020 all the way up until now, trying to get involved in romantically involved with like numerous girls, not like at separate times, like not all at the same time. I want y'all to think I'm like that, but anyways. But no, overall, like, like meeting a girl, then, developing feelings, finding out she don't have them same feelings, or, she ends up getting into a relationship and things. And then it's like, well, dang. And so it's like, it's one of those things where I'm like, hey, you know what? If that relationship don't work, all right. That friendship don't work. Okay, cool. Whatever it is, if a person don't come through with content creating, I'm not going to be mad about it. I'm at a point in time in my life where I'm expecting people to not be there. So like at the end of the day, if people ain't there, they ain't there. I'm like, I can't be mad at them. I can't. No, it's like, that's my life. That's my story, where it's like, it's going to either be for the rest of my life or a good portion of my life. Maybe it might end tomorrow. I don't know well, not my life. All right. Maybe I rewind what I'm saying. Maybe the whole like being lonely stuff may end tomorrow, but I still feel like that don't sound right. I dug myself. Okay, I'm not trying to say anything dramatic or crazy or anything, but y'all get what I'm trying to say though. But anyways, but yeah, it's like overall, it's if one day I look up and I got all the people that I need to have around me, then it's like, hey, so be it. I've had visions and stuff where I'm like, I've been around family, laughing, chilling. I've had those moments. Well, I've had those moments with friends. And, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, it brings happiness to me, but it's like, eventually it gets to a point in time where it's like, I'm right there by myself all over again. I'd have to say I've probably experienced more loneliness than being there with people and stuff. So that's why I'm like, I don't really rely, or I'm not really a hangout type person and things. Now, don't get me wrong, I can hang out with people. I can put that stuff aside and crack jokes and all that stuff, be laughing and chopping it up with whoever I'm hanging out with. But, there's days where I'm like, I'll just be myself. I'm sitting there, quiet, doing whatever and stuff. So, but anyways, yeah, it's like overall, though, it's like, hey, people, you just gotta be okay with, like, just being alone and stuff. So, but anyways, I will talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening. If you're viewing this on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe. And if you're viewing this on a podcast sharing service, make sure you follow or subscribe, however it's set up. Make sure you subscribe to one of my 40... I think I just recently created 3 more channels, so 46 YouTube channels. I have to do a recount again. But anyways, links to my channel will be like on my main channel and stuff. So if you go to my main channel, TMossBoss, go to the channel section, you'll find all of my channels. I need to actually add some more channels and stuff. But anyways, do that. Also, make sure you follow me on social media, Twitter, TikTok, Twitch, and Instagram at TMossBoss. And my Facebook page is TMossBoss fan page. Also, if you are purchasing any tickets from SeatGeek, make sure you use my promo code TMossBoss. It will knock $20 off your first purchase. Thank you guys for watching and or listening, and peace.